So now we can relax. We could take a chill pill here. Now it's the end of news report, right? So, Tina, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. But why don't you just keep me, because I haven't talked to you in a while. So have you been doing anything exciting? Has life been good to you at all? Anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to touch upon?
Well, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, I did get to go to Las Vegas and to a convention for nurses in business, the National Nurses in Business.
Why don't you tell us about that? That sounds exciting.
It was exciting. I got to meet a lot of nurses there who kind of do sort of what you and I do, podcasts, blogging, that sort of thing, or have other types of businesses like coaching. I got to meet Nurse Keith. He has a podcast as well, and also a coaching business. And I got to hear Dr. Charmaine Lawson, who is an author, and she's a nurse practitioner who developed a house call service where she would go into people's homes and see them there. And now she teaches other people how to do that. So I got to meet her, and she's going to come on my podcast. So I just kind of got to connect with some other people who sort of like-minded, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. First time I'd ever been to Las Vegas. So.
What was the thing called again? The convention?
The National Nurses in Business Association.
Would you suggest other nurses do this?
Well, if you're interested in going into business, doing something a little different, maybe not necessarily getting completely away from the bedside. Maybe you do want to get away from the bedside, or maybe you want to just do something different. That's kind of where I was, just kind of reaching out to do some different things. Then it is a good idea to just look into it, because you're going to meet a lot of other people who can kind of be encouraging, get ideas, just and there's a lot of instructional, a lot of people who have instructional type companies. In other words, like, I've run a business and I'll show you how to do it, kind of thing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you're wanting to do something like that.
Yeah, no, and that's something I think I wanted to go to. I found out about it super late. The prices were expensive. It's in Vegas, and you know me, if I go to Vegas, I'm turning up. There's no turning back for me, right? So I think it is good, and I love that. You know, we're in the day and age that you can find any, community online, and you can say if you're a nurse that you want to be in business, an entrepreneur, you can find that group of people. You can do everything online. And I know people say that you find your communities online, and that's great, but it's very different. There's a huge difference between finding a community online and being in a Facebook group or being in a group chat than it is to meet someone in person. Be at a convention where everyone is there for the same reason. That's a different level of dedication. You know that everyone there means what they mean and is passionate, at least passionate enough to invest money to going to a convention and, dressing up and looking the part and bringing their business cards. So I love when those conventions happen. If you at all are serious about something that you're doing and you can find a convention at all, nursing related or not, I always say do it, because that's where you're going to find the other people that are as passionate as you are about that specific thing you want to do. I do want to talk before. Okay. So Tina, did you hear about Bernie Sanders going to the hospital and getting some stents?
No, I didn't.
Well, he went into the hospital and he got some stents. The man is 78 years old. 77, he's 77 turning 78. Tina, do you think he's too old to be president? Give me the honest answer.
Oh, that's hard, because I guess maybe part of me wants to say maybe he is, but I don't. At the same time, I want to be respectful, and I also I think that people do have the ability to keep all of their faculties right up until it's age doesn't necessarily mean dementia. It doesn't necessarily mean that your mind is going. So I guess I would. I mean, the thing is, there is a age requirement on the youth end of it. So I'm not 100% opposed to there being an age limit on the other end of it as well. You have to be, 30, 33, 35, something like that. I think
it's 35 or 38,
35.
One of those numbers.
I mean, I don't know. That's a hard question.
The answer, Tina, is no, he is not. Okay. So look, listen, first and foremost, I always, when I have you on this show, and I try to be nice about it, but Tina, I'm going to push you right now. We're like 6 months in. We have had already 3 full debates. Give me somebody you're thinking about. Who are you leaning towards when it comes to this, the Democrats? Is there anyone that you think, I kind of like where she's going, where he's going? I'm liking Bernie. I'm liking Cory Booker. Like, who is the guy, the lad, the lady that you think is the one that's going to lead us to the promised land and take Donald Trump out?
I'm not gonna go there. Sorry.
Wait, what do you mean you're not going to go there? Wait, seriously, you can't. Wait, are you saying you do know and you're not going to say, or you're saying you don't know and you're not going to say?
I really don't know. I really don't. So I feel like if I were to say something, I'm just kind of picking a name, and I don't really want to do that.
And you don't really want to just pick a name. And you won't tell me what that name is that's swirling around your head? You're not going to tell Q the nurse any goodies? Nothing that I can share with the. All right. All I'm saying is, for those who were concerned, because I sure as hell was concerned, everyone knows that I'm a Bernie bro. He's my main guy. He did go because he had some chest pain. He was in Vegas. He was doing one of his town halls, stump speeches, whatever, campaign speeches, rallies. He had chest pain. He got rushed to the hospital, and he had 2 or 3 stents placed. And people are freaking out. And Tina, you work on a cardiac floor. People get stents placed every single day, as young as people come in on the reg when they're 50. And Bill Clinton got stents placed when he was 50 years old. So this is like, people are freaking out. Oh my God, he's so old. Bernie Sanders. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Sanders is ready to go and he's okay. And they should absolutely not be a limit to how old you can be to run for president, right? I don't think they should be an elderly limit. Science, like we just saw that the Nobel Prize for Medicine, that shit is gonna make sure that Tina and Q, we're gonna live till we're 120, all right? So don't tell me at age 80 or age 90 that someone's too old. Did you see Jimmy Carter the other day? He had a fall. He had a fall at the house, and he got back up, and he was just dancing and doing his thing. I'm telling you.
Do you think there should be a limit on driving cars or
elderly people?
Uh-huh.
No, it's individual, right? I don't know what it is about us, but I don't think we respect experience and wisdom the way we need to. So these elderly folks, these older folks, they got something we don't have, and that's just years, right? They've lived life longer. I would always rather someone who's lived through an experience than someone who's read about an experience. If you're a PhD Harvard grad from the political science field or whatever, versus someone who's been a representative for us for 40 years, I will go with the representative 99% of the time because they lived it, they understand it, they know what the deal is. Okay, but that's just my.
I agree with you. I really do. I agree with you.
That's just my Bernie rant. And I'm just really happy that he's better. He is much better, and just from a nurse's perspective, a cardiac nurse's perspective, and this is my non-biased opinion, if that's even possible. People do feel better and are much better after they get these stents because prior to coming into the hospital, their arteries are plaqued. There's clogged up arteries, so the blood is having a much harder time flow through. Once they have them stent, if you stay with the medication or if you stay with the diet that is prescribed to you, you live a healthier, much better life. It makes you feel better, younger. You're able to do more. So as long as he keeps to his diet, as long as he's keeping to whatever prescribed medication they gave him, he should be even better than what he was before. And God damn it, he was great before. All right. So Tina, I know I've had you for forever, but I wanted to speak to you about this. There was another story you sent me that we didn't cover in the legitimate nursing news, and it was about Black leadership. Do you want to talk about this? Is this something that, the only reason I didn't put it in my nursing news is because I'm in this place in my life where I am I want to say this without being a dick, right? I just, I see too often and too much where people are looking at situation. Tina, I have never been in a work environment where I felt that my race, not like I've had many patients be like, oh, he's a black nurse. I'd rather not be questioning my understanding or my situation. But I've never been in a work environment where I felt that my race has held me back in a situation, right? But I really wanted to have like a legitimate human conversation with you about this. But if you feel like it's not a,
Well, I guess I was looking at that article I don't even remember the article I sent you because I looked at several different ones. I was just
Mhm.
looking at nursing and news, and that one happened to come up. And when it
Yes,
did, I read it, but then I also was sort of trying to research just that topic after I read that. And it's something that's really been studied. It's not just like on a whim that
of
people
course.
are. It's definitely been studied that there are less black people in leadership roles. Now, have you ever tried to get a leadership position?
No, that's because I've been a nurse for 2.5 years, and
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You really don't.
who the hell am I to get a
So you
leadership
haven't had the
role?
opportunity. You have not had the opportunity to know whether or not you would have been passed over. And I think you'd have to be in a situation where there was someone else who had maybe the same experience or less than you, and you were kind of both going for, say, a charge nurse position, and for whatever you the only thing, everything else is off the table, everything is equal, and the only difference is race. And in your mind you're just going, how did this just happen?
Right.
Same thing with females, and there's a female and a male, and everything is exactly the same, and then the male gets the promotion or whatever. This is something that's been studied. It's not like it doesn't happen. My manager is black, but overall, my when I think of all of the managers where I work, I don't think there aren't a lot of black people in administration. But I don't know. Does that mean that they were looked over, or are there just not a lot of black people who attempt to go into leadership roles? I really don't know.
That's a great question, and I wanted to flip this shit. I want to flip it on you because Tina, because I know that you started. You are also fairly new nurse, right? You've been a nurse for like 3 years, 3.5 years,
4 years, four and a
4 years.
half.
I'm sorry. And you made the jump from staff floor nurse to team leader, which a lot of people where I work up north know it as charge nurse. Do you think you would have made that jump as quickly if you were black? Do you like, has that been an issue at your place of work? Like, has that even been a thing that people have been talking about at your place of work? Are there enough people of color where you work that could even be an issue?
I've only worked on the one floor, and like I said, my manager is black, so I don't have any. I feel like I don't really have maybe a true experience of what, because we have a very multicultural staff where we are both days and night shift. So I've seen lots of different people go through, of different races, different ethnicities. But I've never worked anywhere else. So it's hard for me to say. I can't imagine that is the norm just based on the literature that I've seen. And so I don't know. I feel like I don't have a really good um, experience to be able to say that. I don't think my experience is typical, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So you think that other places? So I have to say I've the two nursing jobs I've had. My first nursing job, the nurse manager was a person of color, but she was Asian. My second nursing job, the one I just left, a person of color, and she was Hispanic, Puerto Rican. I I don't know. I'm really struggling with this issue, right? Because I know it's an issue, and the numbers. If you look at the actual numbers, of course, it says yes. If you're a person of color, you're less likely to be in a place, in a
But
management position.
aren't there less black people that go into nursing? I feel like I read that somewhere a while back, maybe in nursing school. Maybe they were talking about that we need to try to encourage more people to go into nursing, and maybe that's the problem. If there are less black people who go into nursing, there would be less black people who would go into the leadership roles when it comes to nursing, or into administrative roles in the hospital. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there are less black people that go into nursing proportionately to the population, but there are many more black people that are in certification roles proportionately than they are in licensed roles. So there's less licensed practicing healthcare providers that are of color in large, but specifically black. But like nursing assistants, MAs, all of those, like techs, all of those positions, a ton of black people are in those positions. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm happy that you sent that to me. What I wanted to say is, the more that we put this out there is like, do you think it's helpful to put this information out there to let everybody know these are the things that we're struggling with, we need to fix it? Or do you just let individuals know individually you are good enough to be because I don't know, I feel like when I get that information, and I feel like we're in that age where we're getting that information 24/7, 365. You're black, so you're less likely to do this. You're white, you're a Hispanic, so you're less likely. You're Chinese, so you're less likely. You're a female, so you're less likely. So I feel like, oh my God, it's constantly telling me what I am less likely to do because of who I am. Why don't you just let things be and just say, Q, you're looking good, you did a good job. I don't know, Tina.
It may be that, okay, so I mentioned Dr. Lawson, Dr. Charmaine Lawson, the nurse practitioner earlier. When she did her talk, she talked about when she, at each milestone, at each thing that she's done over her career, she's been doing this for like 30 years. So she would talk about how she had this voice in her head saying, you're not supposed to be, you can go so far, but you can't go that far. You're not good enough for that. You were raised in public housing. You were raised by your grandmother. She had this voice in her head saying that. And she had to fight it all the time, because if, she might be able to, maybe what you're saying is, or not what you're saying, I don't mean to put words in your mouth. I mean, maybe the fact that you said that there are more people in like CNA roles and maybe phlebotomists or medical assistants, that sort of thing. Maybe it's because we do need to encourage young black people to, yes, you can do this. You deserve it. It doesn't matter that you're raised in public housing. It doesn't matter that you're raised by grandmother or whoever. I was raised in foster care. I honestly had a little of that myself. I mean, I was 40 years old before I went to nursing school. I've had a lot of insecurities. I still struggle with that sometimes. Imposter syndrome, thinking, am I really supposed to be here? I'm a team leader. Like you said, I've only been a nurse for 4 years. Who do I think I am? Kind of thing. But I do think it's important. Maybe the way that we are going about the conversation isn't good, because I feel like maybe it's a little offensive to you, because you're kind of like, well, I get so sick of hearing this. But maybe we still need to keep the conversation going, but maybe change the conversation a little bit and say, there aren't, but we need more. That maybe there aren't there aren't enough black people in leadership in hospitals. We need more. Where are you? Come on, we need you. Instead of, we don't have them, as in you can't do it. Maybe change the narrative a little
exactly.
bit.
I hate the framing of like, oh my goodness, you are less likely. Like when the framing starts off as you are less likely to be, and I'm like, fuck off. Like, I don't need you to tell me what I'm less or more likely to be. I'm going to be and do what I want. But I do like what you said. If you change the framing of the conversation to let's have more black people in leadership versus you are less likely to be in leadership because you're black, that that changes everything for me. And that's why I was turned off by the article, because the title of the article, the title of the study was "Black Woman Less Likely to." I'm like, okay, I'm just, it's very, very frustrating to me to see that, because I see it so often. And I understand in 2019, in the internet age, negativity and like you want the clickbait, but God damn it, it's everywhere in every single profession, all day, every day, and it's super frustrating. But yeah, at least that's just how I feel about the situation. And thank you for you just at least airing it out. I appreciate it, and thank you for sending me the article. Please send me more. Before I close this out, final announcements. You guys don't forget, please, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, just don't forget to subscribe, comment, rate. Give me them 5 stars, boo boo, because goddamn on you thing, I need them. And please go join the Facebook group. Nurses Are Human Too. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is a fun Facebook group. There's memes, there's intense articles, there's a story that I chose from This Nursing News from the Facebook group. A lot of things are happening in the Facebook group. Go join it. I love you guys. I'll catch you on the flip. Tina, thank you very much for joining me. For those listening, go follow Tina, Good Nurse, Bad Nurse. Go listen to Tina on podcast, Good Nurse, Bad Nurse. Catch you on the flip. Deuces.